Hey, what's up everybody? It's the Darkinator with another drawing video, and today I'm going to be showing you how to draw the Ultra Instinct Goku. And he is basically like a super upgraded form of like Super Saiyan. What I'm going to start with for Goku is his iconic face shape, okay? He has like this triangular pointed face shape, and that's key for drawing Goku because that's his character, okay? So we're going to start with the side of his face, sketching in lightly and slowly the shape of it. And he has a very structured jaw line. And then another important part about drawing Dragon Ball characters is their ears are like 3/4 the size of their face shape. I don't know why, but that's just how they're drawn. So I'm going to start with the lower part of the ear. I'm going to go shift over to the top part of the ear and come in just like that. See how I did that? That was pretty spiffy, right? And then we're going to use light lines to detail the inner lobe details, just like that. I'm going to add a little line in there to give the edge of the ear some definition. Now I'm going to draw his super popular shaped eyes. And because we're drawing the Ultimate Instinct Goku, he is of course going to be in an angry facial expression, okay? So the thing about the Dragon Ball character eyes is that they cover most of the forehead area. So we're going to start with this kind of contoured brow, which is very thick on the males, and then we're going to come in and draw the eyebrows. And Goku's eyebrows are thick, but because he's like furrowing his brows, we're gonna draw them not so thick. And then we're gonna draw the underlid and then come in kind of like a angular shape for the eyes, and then we're going to lightly draw in his iris. And the Ultimate Instinct Goku does not have any pupils or black eye. His eyes completely like grayed out. Then I'm going to draw the hair shape first because I want to draw the other eye accurately underneath that hair so I don't have to go back and erase it, you know what I mean? So the hairline, and then want to come in over here and draw a kind of, I don't know, like an angled, sharp-tipped piece of hair. And I think the reason why they draw these characters like that is because they're trying to simplify the hairdos by just making these big, shapely pieces of hair like this, especially the male characters for some weird reason. And we're going to draw the other brow and draw another brow, or you know, indentation of brow. We're going to add some wrinkles and kind of like indication of scuff marks from battling, okay? And I'm going to draw, I almost got carried away here. I'm going to finish drawing his other eye, just like that. Alright? Pretty simple, right? I mean, if you go slowly and you get the hang of it, it gets simpler. You want to draw his nose. Remember, his nose is really pointy, small, doesn't take too much of his face. And then I'm going to do his really tiny mouth. And he's, of course, you know, in a grumpy mood. So he's going to have this lip kind of pouty. So he's looking pretty good so far. And then another important part about Dragon Ball character eyes, especially the males, is they have like this indent underneath their eyes that kind of frame the lower lids, kind of like that. And they're drawn really thin lined. So I'm going to do the same thing with this side. Just like that. Now I'm going to finish his hair. And his hair is like a giant lion's mane. So glamorous and big and flowy chunks of hair. I can't wait to show you guys the coloring process because, oh my god, I had so much fun with the coloring. At first I was intimidated with the coloring, and then I just like got so comfortable with it because I was confident that I knew how it was going to turn out, or where my direction was going. I'm going to draw the back of his head. That's another thing about Goku, by the way. is he has like this round area right here in the back of his head where the points of his sides of his hair meet, and then just one piece of chunk to give his head a more of a three-dimensional look in the center there. Alright, now we're going to start drawing his neck. And Dragon Ball characters' necks, the males, I know I keep saying that, they're really thick and built, okay? Just really, they emphasize in the cartoon and in the manga really like chunky built, strong physiques. I'm gonna draw these shoulders here, and then this is where it gets tricky because it always gets me. And then from those nice large portioned shoulders, we're gonna go into the arm part of the shoulders. It's like multi-shouldered, just like this, and they're round. And we're drawing Arnold Goku here because he's like super buff. Then we're gonna draw the collarbone, which is kind of perched upwards into where the neck is, where the base of the neck goes into, because of the angle that we're drawing him. And then some slight indication of, you know, neck definition. And that's, in this cartoon, it's extremely exaggerated when they're in these like action poses, fighting in their like Super Saiyan forms. They got like super like detailed definition. Then we're going to start drawing his pecs, okay? It's like every girl's favorite part about drawing male characters is the pecs. We're going to draw the chest part, and we're going to draw the two breasts, okay? They're like breast shaped, just not saggy or anything. And we're going to come down to the other breast, and we're going to kind of round that at the ends like this. And then we're going to draw some nippies. Oh my. They're really round. And then we're going to draw some more indication, more definition of the chest muscles. Then I'm going to start drawing more of his the upper shoulder. My brain's like totally in a fart today. I mean, it's 4:30 in the morning. I've been up all day. I'm going to add some more indication or definition into that shoulder piece to make it look more muscular. And then we're going to work on the other bicep. We're going to move down to the biceps now. So let's draw these biceps nice and thick. And if you need references on the biceps and the muscles, a good thing to do is go look at images on Google of a muscular man in different poses, or just go to look at the different Dragon Ball characters in a more muscular reference, you know what I mean? Just look at multiple pictures of muscles and stuff to kind of give you a better idea of how the muscles are shaped and the different poses. Now I'm going to draw his torso, which is going to taper and come into ripped clothing. First I'm going to finish with the forearms here. Very nice forearms. Using thin, jagged lines, we're going to be doing some more definition to make these muscles really pop and look strong, okay? Varying my line weights, using thin, tapered lines in like a pattern uniform to kind of add some, to give the piece more form, okay? So you want to add these little lines to give the character more dimension. Then we're going to draw his ribcage area. And then we're going to start doing some ab action here. Delicious abs. Looks really fantabulous. And he's looking pretty good so far, I'd say. And now we're going to start drawing his ripped clothing. Just, when you're drawing ripped clothing, you gotta be like, just draw the lines like you're ripping his clothing, you know what I mean? Give it some life. Like let that hand just go wild when you're drawing rips and tears. That's what I do. It gives the drawing more life. I mean, if you're putting that type of energy into the drawing, it's gonna come out with the amount of energy you put into it. Scribble. I'm going to do the other layer of ripped clothing. Man, I remember when I was a fangirl of watching Dragon Ball Z. My ultimate favorite character in that show was totally Vegeta. I had like the hugest crush on Vegeta, even though it's a cartoon. Oh my god, fangirl days. And just add some definition of clothing or pants, because you're not going to see much. And I think I'm going to add some touch-ups here to kind of close in some lines so they don't look so bare. And that's it. I know it doesn't really look like the Ultra form yet, but stay tuned, and in the coloring video I'll show you how to do a bunch of cool like effects to make that blue haze around him, that blue powerful aura stuff around him in the coloring video. So let's go to that right now. Alright, so what I did when I colored Goku is I started with flat light colors because of the way I was going to shade him and where my light source was coming from, and I just found it a lot easier to do it this way. So what I did is I made a new layer, clipped it onto the flat color layer, and started putting in my values of the shadows. And I worked from one tone to the next, and this is just the first tone of shadow that I'm using. And I'm just highlighting, you know, parts of the muscles to give it some dimension and form. It really brings the character's form to life when you're shading the right way. And I would suggest, you know, looking at pictures of muscles and how their shadows are contouring the parts of the muscles. It's really about using references and looking at a bunch of different pictures of your subject that you're trying to color, highlighter, shadow. And now I select the parts that I already laid down on this layer, and I made a new layer, clipped it on to the same flat layer, and I'm going in with a darker tone to kind of make those the values more dramatic and makes the form pop more. And I'm using a soft airbrush for this, so there's not too many lines going on in the drawing. And then I go and make a new layer underneath those two shadow layers and put in some light tones to kind of give his skin variety. And then I'm just filling in the clothes and the hair, and then I go into coloring in the eyes and putting that gray color to his irises. And I think in the video I'm just looking for different pictures of Ultimate Goku to kind of get an idea of how I want my color scheme to look for the background and the foreground, and getting a better idea of the aura that's around him. And then while contemplating, I finish some more shadowing of the clothes to kind of, you know, make the piece more, I don't know, like, to make it come together so when I do everything else it just looks easier for me to understand. I know it probably makes no sense to you, but you'll see. Still just looking at backgrounds of what I want to do for the color scheme. I want it to really pop, you know what I mean? I want it to be unique looking. So what I do is I go for a red background, and just to get an idea of how I want the shape of the aura to look, I go ahead and just add like swirls of like I don't know how to explain it, like wind or just air or something. I don't know what to call that. Just to get a feeling for, you know, the aura around him. I'm just drawing parts of it. And I go in and I layer different hues and values of the aura around him. I think I left right here to go get something to eat, because I'm like AFK for like 10 minutes. There I am. Drinking the rest of my coffee. This actually took me like 2 hours to color. Now I'm going in with a softer brush and just adding some more faint, hazy soft lines that kind of swirl around to give the to lessen the harshness of just those bold lines. You know what I mean? I want to add some texture to the aura. Then what I did right here is I set my layer to, in Paint Tool SAI, it's luminosity, and that just is like a mask over your background layer, and it makes it like a nice highlighted hue. And then I just do that for all the rest of the layers to kind of get that nice blue violet transparent look. And if you're using Photoshop, I think it's called linear dodge for the layer setting. But I set my layer blend mode to luminosity in Paint Tool SAI. And I'm just going in with another layer and kind of with my layer on luminosity once again, kind of incorporating his form into the background by using these violets and blues around his hair and his body, just to make him look like he's in that aura, you know what I mean? And I make the line art for his hair a bluish color, so he looks, you know, not so much black what the hair is. I want to have nice light for the outline of his hair. And I'm just adding texture to the background and some more like hazy glare to the sides of his body to kind of incorporate him more into that power shield. And that concludes the video, guys. If you enjoyed this video, click the bell icon so you get notified whenever I post a new video. And don't forget to hit subscribe. If you didn't find this drawing video helpful, be sure to go to DrawingHUB.com where you get the step-by-step drawing tutorial video, which is provided in the description below. So be sure to check that out. It's awesome stuff. You can learn how to draw pretty much anything like Fortnite characters and pop culture characters, anything like that. I also draw live right here on YouTube and also on Twitch TV on the weekdays from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. Usually, though, I'm streaming around 5 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you want to watch awesome art being drawn, hit me up on the YouTube live stream. Thanks so much for viewing, guys, and I hope you stay tuned for other videos.